Anywho. Alright, so today, first episode of the videos I plan to release on Whiskey and RPGs. Considering, yeah, this way I could kill two birds with one stone. A lot of people seem to be doing that anyways, and so... Anyways, it'd be a really good idea to start streaming again anyways, so... But anyways, yeah. The reason why I wanted to do this is because, one of the reasons why I liked doing the news, the RPG news segment, was it allows me to force myself to keep up to date with all the, well, news, essentially, and the trends and whatnot, but, unfortunately, gaming news isn't really a popular thing to do. There are a lot of people who, do it really well and they get massive amount of views, but those videos or those channels tend to be very massive in the first place, and those of us who are have smaller channels it struggles very the struggle's very real. And so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just cover the news in regular old Twitch fashion and upload the longer form content on my second YouTube page, which I just made, called Whiskey and RPGs, the former name of Coffee and RPGs, and so I'm bringing that back. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. So the first thing I wanted to bring up was this article that we have from MMORPG.com, and it says that a new interview, with Naoki Yoshida on Final Fantasy XIV's graphical update solo play in the future. So definitely give me your guys' opinion, your 2 cents, because again, I haven't played Final Fantasy XIV since it was still the first rendition of the game, so this is pre-Reborn, so for all intents and purposes I actually know nothing about the game other than what people tell me and what I've seen on Twitch. And so anyways, yep, goes on to say that Final Fantasy XIV's newfound adventure era well underway, and this is going to be the new storyline, as the whole Endwalker saga is now done with. The PlayStation blog has a new interview with the producer Yoshida on the long roadmap of plans the team has for the game and more of what's coming in the future. And so yeah, this is something that I covered before, I believe a month ago, as it was announced. And I really hope the graphical update is something that really modernizes the game, because I still feel like it's a pretty relatively newer game, but it's been out in the market for almost a decade now, which is mind-blowing to me for whatever reason. But yeah, it goes on to say that Final Fantasy XIV fans will be very familiar with the secrecy around the specifics, but the interview does get into an overview of what has recently been added, including making the game more playable for soloers, new quests, challenges, and other stuff in the works. Admittedly, when I read that, I'm a little concerned because, first of all, it's an MMORPG, right? And if it's too solo friendly, it might turn out like Star Wars: The Old Republic, where you could pretty much get through the entire game, at least when it comes to its main storyline, without having to partner up with anyone whatsoever. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if that's the type of demographic or fans you want to cater towards, so be it. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna do that, just might as well just make the game offline, available offline, so you can just play on your own without having to deal with maintenance issues. And yeah, I don't know. Do something very similar to, I guess, Hellgate London. I don't know if any of you guys remember that game, but there was an offline version of the game and an online version of the game as well. But hey, I mean, to be honest with you though, as somebody who plays a lot of MMOs, I will admit it does sound a bit more intriguing if it allows people to play the game solo, if it's more solo friendly, just because, again, there's only so many hours in a day, but I guess we'll see. Goes on to say that the interview also covers the announced graphical update that will happen over time. While a graphical update would take many forms, once again, the community's interest is firmly in mind. When you have loyal players that have been around for a decade, going slowly with such a big update and getting the right feedback is the way. And fair enough. I'm really hoping that this new graphical update will feel more like a remaster. I remember when Black Desert Online came out, it was considered one of the most beautiful looking MMORPGs, and then a few years later, they already came out with a remastered version. So, which is really weird because you typically think of a remaster of a game that's already older, but this new game is actually getting a newer update. And so maybe that's the way Final Fantasy XIV also wants to go too. Who knows? And lastly, it says here, finally, when asked about the design behind the new Dragon Songs Reprise the new Dragon Songs Reprise Ultimate, lowering the barriers isn't or wasn't a factor here. As for the difficulty, we don't have quite... Sorry, it says as for the difficulty, we don't quite have approachability in mind. Okay, so that's fair enough. Maybe they have some content that they want solo friendly and other content they want you to really be hardcore about. And so I think a good balance is the key here for sure. Next, we got still sticking with MMORPG.com, CCP in the news. We're not talking about the particular government. We're talking about the gaming company. And this is really cool. I really wish a lot more companies did this, but it says here CCP releases Fanfest schedule, details COVID-19 guidelines ahead of next week's Fanfest in, oh goodness, Reykjavik. I know I butchered that name, so I do apologize. But the reason why I wanted to cover this is not only is Eve still a relatively popular MMORPG, and definitely one of the most difficult by far, maybe I don't know, maybe elite dangerous to some extent maybe, but yeah, I really like it when companies actually have their own fan fests. It really seems to bring the community together. It really seems to, or at least solidify the community. I don't know if there's a better way to describe it other than that, but I mean, I think that's why BlizzCon is so popular. Everybody who are huge fans of Blizzard games such as World of Warcraft go to this convention and they get to mingle with people who have minded interests and whatnot. And I think that's really cool. I wish a lot more companies did that. Myself, as somebody who actually does like going to conventions, like whether it be Comic-Con in San Diego, TwitchCon, PAX, Crunchyroll Expo, and stuff like that. Yeah, there's just something about just being in a large crowd and just being around people who share the same interests with you and whatnot. I don't know. It's just really cool. And this is somebody who has a slight social anxiety as well. It's not as bad as say others out there, but anyways, they're having the Fan Fest for 2022 in Greenland for the Capsuleers trekking to Iceland next week for EVE Online's Fan Fest. What you might be doing there just got a little bit more clear as CCP Games has released the schedule for next weekend's event. That's really cool. If you actually wanted to go to Iceland and you're a fan of EVE Online, I guess there's a excuse for you to go. But basically, I think they're just saying, they have certain guidelines and restrictions because it's still the COOF, as I'll call it, is still of a concern and whatnot. So anyways, I guess all in all, what I'm trying to say is that I really wish more companies did this. I mean, I would love it. As far as I can tell, I don't think Bethesda has their own fan fest, and if they did, I think that would be pretty cool, just because I'm generally a huge fan of all their games that they've made, especially when it comes to the Fallout series. So, all right. So as you can tell, I just went through each and every single website that I generally go through. So instead of mixing them up, we're just going to do everything at once here. So still sticking with MMORPG.com, we got the Elder Scrolls Online introducing a new champion, Isobel Veloise, coming with High Isle, and I believe that's their next expansion. And it goes on to say companions first arrived in Tamriel with last year's Blackwood chapter, and with this year's High Isle, the Elder Scrolls Online is adding even more. The team at ZeniMax Online Studios laid out a bit of information for one of those companions, Isobel, and I believe, correct me if I'm not saying that right, which is coming in the next chapter update. That's pretty cool. And again, Elder Scrolls Online is one of those games that I played for about a month, so for all intents and purposes, I actually have no idea what's really going on in the game. But still hugely popular. Still coming out with lots of content. Definitely one of those games that gets overlooked. Yeah, overlooked. So I don't know. Anything else worth mentioning? I guess that's it. Really, is that you get the new companion. Did I say champion? I meant companion. Wow. Sorry, it's a little late. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I can't be drinking coffee this late at night. I have trouble sleeping. Insomnia can't be a problem. So yeah, with a new companion, not champion. Oh, goodness. All right, moving on. Dungeons and Dragons Online, one of the older MMORPGs in the market, adds the Tabaxi and opens pre-orders for the next expansion tomorrow. Impressive. Now, I mean, I think it's kind of understandable that Dungeons and Dragons Online would still be alive, considering D&D is still a really huge popular IP even till this day. Matter of fact, you're going to see... Oh, excuse me. You're going to see a lot of D&D going on in Twitch, where people are actually using their webcams and having the dungeon master there and rolling a virtual dice and whatnot. And so probably one of those MMORPGs that I should at least give a try, like we did with Lord of the Rings Online. But anyways, a new update for Dungeons and Dragons Online will be live tomorrow. And actually, that would be today, because this article was published yesterday. So today, and this update brings the Tabaxi, and let me know if I'm mispronouncing that as well, but it brings the Tabaxi into the game, and the Tabaxi Trailblazer Iconic, and a series of bug fixes and UI changes. The next expansion, Isle of Dread, will also be available for pre-order ahead of its release in June 8th. I have no idea what the Tabaxi Trailblazer is. I guess we can find out. The Tabaxi Trailblazer is a new iconic that begins in Sharn with a level of monk. Those who hold the Trailblazer title, which is something passed down through generations, are moving forward. They also get the ability to negate fall damage and move quickly. Their trees can also let them expand bonuses to dodge, tumble, and use their dexterity to learn how to master quarter staves. I have no idea what any of this means. I do apologize. So this is where I need your guys' help. If you're somebody who still plays Dungeons and Dragons Online, fill me in on what any of that means. It sounds like a new class of sorts, or yeah. But anyways, thought I'd bring that to your attention in case this is a game that you used to play or still play. But I might have to get back into it. Not back into it. I might have to get into it with my co-host for the MMO RPG podcast. And so, Lost Ark, a game that probably doesn't need any introductions for those of you who still watch this channel and whatnot. But anyways, Lost Ark Express Mission event getting one-time character swap option this week. I like the Express Mission event. I still would consider myself a casual player of Lost Ark, and it's just extra things that you could do in order to help move your character along. And so if you're somebody who hasn't played Lost Ark in a while, or you want to get back into it, I highly recommend getting back into it now. For the Express Mission event alone, they've also added their own season pass as well. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. I mean, the highest item level character I have is just under 400, just to give you an idea how casual I've been playing, but still having a lot of fun though. So, but anyways, it goes on to say that recently Lost Ark got a new event intended to provide some help with progression, like I said earlier. Now there is a change to the Express Missions event that adds a limited one-use character change option, and a change to engraving selection chests. So if you selected a character for the express mission event. I guess it sounds like that if you regret that decision, it allows you to actually use that special express mission event on another character. I already knew that I was going to use it on my what do you call it, gun lancer, and I haven't looked back. But anyways, yeah, it says Amazon is working with Smilegate on the, or hang on, excuse me, let me go back. Apparently there was like a lot of disruption from the last update. I remember getting like some compensation in my mail sometime last week for whatever update problems it had. I didn't notice anything, but then again, the updates happen like really late at night, so. But anyways, going on, engraving selection chests are also getting a change, so you'll want to avoid opening any you might want, or I'm sorry, let me start that over again. Engraving selection chests are also getting a change, so you'll want to avoid opening any you might still have until after the update. These will contain all recipe selection options, which is great because I haven't been opening any chests unless I know what's already in them. I have tons of chests in my inventory that I don't know what they do, so I just play it safe and not open them. And unfortunately, they're taking a lot of inventory space, but I just don't want to take any chances. And so, anyways, however, there are some exceptions. If you already use the honing benefit from the event on tier 1 or tier 2 pieces, you won't be able to swap characters. If you have only honed tier 3 gear on the event character, you'll be able to switch. Not really a big deal for me, but anyways, lastly, it says here, if you have already claimed some of the rewards, you won't be able to get them on the new character. This will avoid double rewarding with the same player. All rewards from the event, all rewards from the event are character bound. So if you're thinking of changing your character, don't use any until after the update later this week. I'm considering making just a dedicated video for my other channel, Coffee and RPGs, just on this article alone, just because I'm really looking forward to this. And it says here, again, sticking with MMORPG.com, NCSoft's Throne and Liberty, set for 4th quarter release, is also launching for the PlayStation 5. I wonder why just the PlayStation 5. I wonder why they must have signed some sort of deal with Sony. But anyways, first off, it just says NCSoft's recently unveiled Throne and Liberty seems to be headed to the PlayStation 5 along with its originally announced PC release. And so it says what? Global release? I don't know if this is just a Korean, but I suppose we'll just read on. This news comes from a report via Technosturia? Yeah, anyways. Which refers to a South Korean publication called Inven, which shared an interview with NCSoft representatives. In that interview, Throne and Liberty, formerly known as Project TL, came up, and the company representatives were asked whether or not they believe the game would be further delayed by the Koof incident. But they responded that by summer they should have a more specific announcement about their release schedule. However, before we learn about any release dates, they plan on doing some testing first. Fair enough. Another detail in the interview was that the game is now set for release for the PlayStation 5 as part of this interview. It was shown images they were shown images of the PlayStation 5 version, or we might have to go ahead and check out that link then, confirming at least one console release, excuse me. One place where the team did not get into specifics was about the game's business model. Okay, so we actually don't know if it's going to be free to play, buy to play, subscription, stuff like that. The genres we prepare inside are very diverse, and we are designing BMs or business models that fit them, said director Choi Moon Young. And they're using Google Translate for this. Details on just what the Throne and Liberty business model might look like might also be related in the summer, as they're saying 4th quarter for a possible release date. Oh, so this is a possible release date. Again, according to Google Translate at least. And so it's not really definitive. And even then, I'm still wondering if it's a global release or just a South Korean release. Throne and Liberty has been through various incarnations, and that's that is clearly the case. I'm actually kind of sad about that. I really wish Throne and Liberty was still that isometric look and feel, very similar to the Lost Ark. I didn't think I'd like Lost Ark as much as I do right now, and I think part of that is because it's so different from your stereotypical third-person view on things. And yeah, I really wish they did that. Anyways, so yeah, they went through various incarnations on its way to what looks like the final stretch. Now, with the confirmation of a PlayStation 5 release, plans seem to be coming together in more depth. NCSoft also plans to begin revealing more about its related game, Project E, soon. Project E, is that the action like hack and slash one? There's so many projects. There's like, anyways, both games are set in the same world at the same time. So we're talking about the Lineage lore then, I would assume. But oh, excuse me. But will each have a different focus. Core events that will, core events that happen in both games will occur, but affect circumstances and people differently. So let's go ahead and click on this link, actually. A port via... Can you guys see that? Oh, it's a little... So if this is real, it actually shows you a picture of somebody playing Throne and Liberty on what looks like to be some sort of like a PlayStation developer PlayStation, maybe, because that certainly doesn't look like a PlayStation I've ever seen. Oh, that's it. There's only one picture. Technosturia, your daily gaming news. Now, I've never heard of this website. I'm actually going to bookmark this or favorite and kind of keep this site in the loop of things or different things that I could cover. All right, and our last MMORPG article for today. Valheim celebrates 100 million players since its 2021 early access launch. Talks Mistlands update. Oh my goodness, that is insane. I understand why this game is popular, but as somebody who doesn't, I mean, it's not necessarily my cup of tea. Like, it also kind of boggles my mind at the same time. So, that's essentially what I wanted to cover, was just the huge popularity of this game. It kind of makes me wonder how popular it is on Twitch and whatnot. And I guess we could figure that out. Hang on. Valheim, Steam database. So I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can partially see it. So yeah, it's still doing tremendously well. Like, for example, back in April 24th, which was what, a few days ago as of recording of this video, or at least at its peak on the 23rd, just under 30,000 players playing this game still on Steam. And you had about 1,500 people streaming it on Twitch. But at its peak, you still had just over 3,000. Not bad. Not bad for this game. So at its peak, when it first came out, I had about 500,000 players playing it. But it's still super impressive considering this game just came out of nowhere. It's not even a AAA title. So, good on them. But it did say something about a new Mistlands update, or Mistlands, or however you say that. They even admitted themselves. We never imagined Valheim would become so big, not even in our wildest dreams. So yeah, good on them. But lastly, it does say here, development on the Mistlands update is coming along, and while they don't have the exact release date, the Valheim devs do say that players should see it this year. In recent weeks, the developers have given more insight into the new home biomes update, which is hopefully a trend we'll see continue as we get closer to its eventual launch. And so, yeah, this new update seems to be giving new biomes. Because as far as I can tell, the only biome I've seen is like the forest area and whatnot. But then again, I don't really follow this game closely to know if there's anything else. And so, Yeah, good on them. I'm very happy for their success. So all right, and so okay, I left this up. We got PC Gamer in the news. I think I only have 2 articles here. Oh, this is interesting. With so many platforms out in there in the market, it seems like yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. I think of it as a positive, but I suppose we'll see. And it says here in their article, you can now transfer your Bethesda Launcher games to Steam. Starting May 11th, Bethesda Launcher will officially bite the dust. Yeah, that's just so weird to me. I guess it's just nobody really wants to use it. Maybe Bethesda just thought, hey, our games are popular. We'll launch our own launcher, and I suppose nobody really wants to. I remember buying Fallout 76 on a sale through Steam, so maybe they just crunch the numbers and be like, hey, this is just a waste of money. I guess I don't know. But anyways, first up, it does say, or it continues to say here, it lived for a while but never really grew up. The Bethesda launcher arrived in 2016, but it unfortunately never evolved into much of anything besides a desktop client with 2 buttons, buy game and play game, that I didn't know. Now it's being switched off on May 11th. The Bethesda launcher will become officially defunct, and as promised, starting today, you can migrate your Bethesda launcher games library over to Steam. Note, you'll still be able to migrate your games after May 11th when the launcher is dead, so you just won't be able to use the launcher itself anymore, which is great. What if, like they said, you could only do it on May 11th? That's the only day you could do it. There is a full list of instructions in case this does something, or this is something that affects you. I don't have the Bethesda launcher, so it doesn't really affect me, but yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's one of those things where people are gonna miss it. Oh wow, the article continues to go on. Well, this is interesting. As for subscriptions to Fallout 76 Fallout First membership, that's got a whole page of its own, I would assume. An existing membership will continue until it naturally expires, but renewing an expired membership or starting a new one will need to be done through the Steam platform from now on, though the Bethesda launcher will continue to work until May 11th. All real money transfers or transactions are halting now. All right, next from PCGamer.com, Star Wars The Old Republic finally lets you change your weapon's appearance. I kind of don't get that. I thought you were always able to do that through form of skins. Don't get stuck with an ugly lightsaber. So I suppose we'll just read on. Dressing up my myriad alts is undoubtedly, one of the main appeals of Star Wars The Old Republic. I agree. As somebody who has many alts. Sure, I love the drama-rich class stories, and while Legacy of the Sith was a dud, and again, I kind of agree with that as well, there have been some great expansions, but I'm not sure I would have stuck around for a decade if it wasn't for my obsession with Star Wars fashion. Matter of fact, I think there's a website just dedicated to Star Wars fashion called like Star Wars store swatorfashion.com or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, this goes on to say that I'm pretty happy with the latest update then, because it finally gives me complete control to control my character's swag. But again, I thought you were always able to do that. While players have been able to customize their outfits since Rise of the Emperor update way back in 2015, weapons were excluded from the outfitter feature. If you really dug your look of your weapon and wanted to keep using it, you needed to keep replacing all of its mods. And with the pace of leveling in Star Wars The Old Republic, it just made it more sense to use whatever weapon you got as class rewards from drops. Yeah, I still don't understand what he's saying, because there's a skin slot in Star Wars The Old Republic. Like, you bought skin, like for example, Kylo Ren's lightsaber skin, you're able to use that assuming your class is able to use a single lightsaber. So basically Sentinels and Guardians and Juggernauts and whatnot. So I'm I don't know what this means. Maybe I'm just more of an idiot than I thought. Anyways, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time just because I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about. But that's all in the past now. This week in the 7.0.2 update expands the outfitter to include weapons. Maybe the outfitter, what he means by that is those tabs that you could actually save your character's skin combinations, and maybe that didn't include weapon skins, just the armor skins. Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, the outfitter to include weapons. It works the same way as armor. Select one of your outfits in the outfitter tab, and then grab the weapon with the appearance you want from your inventory, dropping it into the appropriate slot. Your actual weapon stats will still be used, but now it'll have the appearance, sound, and visuals effects of one in the outfitter. Yeah, I always just assumed you could do that, so I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'm not sure if I'm going to include this in the YouTube Whiskey and RPGs. Maybe I'll leave it in there, but anyways. All right, moving on to allchar.com. There's a few articles that I wanted to cover here, both of which involve Genshin Impact. Is that? Yeah, it's kind of cut off on the side there, so I do apologize. But it is going to say that Genshin Impact leak shows new character Yelan equipped with gliders. At least the words aren't cut off. Again, new recent Genshin Impact leak has. Now, Genshin Impact is one of those games that constantly gets leaked, and for 99%, they've all been true. But I think that's been to MiHoYo's benefit, actually. Yelan is a name that has been mentioned in numerous Genshin Impact leaks for months now, and it seems like she will finally arrive. She will finally arrive to the live servers. Each 5-star Genshin Impact character has a unique close-up animation to their elemental bursts. Each recent post on the popular Genshin Impact leak subreddit has revealed Yelan's elemental burst without the close-up animation. So, as always, they do a remarkable job with the character design. Looks like she's a Frost? Let me know if the music's too loud too. I'm not exactly sure how to gauge that. Anyways, a recent leak by a popular Genshin Impact leaker named Dimbreath has revealed the elemental skill and burst for the upcoming... Oh, she's a Hydro user. Okay. So yeah, there you have it. New hero to try to get by spending hundreds of dollars on gacha mechanics. This is one of those games I wish I played more of. I mean, it was such a popular game. I mean, it still is. Not nearly as much, obviously, but... and again, like I mentioned earlier, more Genshin Impact news from allchar.com. They're all from allchar.com. Allchar.com seems to have a huge... have a thing for Genshin Impact. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Anyways, Genshin Impact Update 2.8 will bring the first Kazuha rerun. And goes on to say, Genshin Impact... Oh, this is also a leak. Genshin Impact leak has revealed that a popular character, Kazuha, could arrive in the 2.8 update. He was originally released way back in Update 1.6, and this would be his first banner rerun. As it says here, that Genshin Impact player is looking forward to. But sadly, once a new 5-star character arrives, his banner stays in the game for 10 to 15 days. So if the rumors are true, you get 1 to 2 weeks. And if you miss your chance of pulling, it's highly unlikely that you'll be able to acquire him or her anytime soon. Welcome to gacha mechanics. I mean, I haven't played what's that game called? Epic 7 in a while, and they do stuff like this as well. I should start playing that game again, actually. But anyways, I guess that's just the story, is that his banner rerun is coming up pretty soon, if the rumors or leaks are to have any substantial truth to them, and they usually do. All right, next we got some games from MMOculture.com. And the one that I really wanted to cover was actually this one. Is it in there? Okay. So it's Front Mission 2098 Borderscape, and the reason why I wanted to include it, well, obviously because of the mechs. This is a game I actually played back in the PlayStation 1 days, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what it was called. It was just Front Mission, and from what I could recall, it was like a turn-based strategy game. But the game, wow, like I know nothing about this game. I mean, I guess we just click on that. So I mean, I get the reason why people. Oh no, this isn't even CGI. This is all real. They're using real actors for this. Wow. I mean, is there going to be anything substantial though? Oh, okay. Look at this. So I guess they use a real actress and then they made her into a character. And now she's inside this giant robot, which looks freaking cool. And now you see the giant robot rise up. Oh man, come on, show us more of the robot. Why? Dang. Teaser trailer. I mean, that is definitely teasing for sure. Oh, wait, hang on. We got more. More footages. Okay. Yeah, see? Oh, man, I wish. Why is this in the way? That's cool. That's definitely giving me a lot of Armored Core vibes, but... And there's, what does it say? Square Enix recently teased an upcoming new entry in its Front Mission franchise, Front Mission 2089 Borderscape. The developer is actually from China, revealed to be Blackjack Studio. This is a team under Beijing-based Zilong Game. And I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, probably am. Anyways, Blackjack Studio is most popularly known for developing the mobile strategy title Langrisser. Square Enix has yet to confirm the platforms for Front Mission 2089 Borderscape, but mobile is definitely included. Of course, mobile is always included. But I'm still excited for it. I have my reservations. I'm a little concerned, but I guess I'll voice those in a later update as we get more confirmed information about this game. All right, so we're about to wrap it up here a little bit. So moving on to massivelyop.com. Not a game that I really enjoyed or remember a whole lot. I do remember playing it for a while. Not a while, but a short time. But anyways, PlanetSide 2's roadmap blog teases new outfit wars and underwater combat. Underwater combat, that's interesting. For what I remember PlanetSide to be, it was like this massive, like, supposed pretty much like Battlefield, but like in a persistent world, more or less. I wouldn't necessarily call it an MMO, but certainly there's people who call it that. But anyways, outfit wars. I believe that's like a contest for dressing up your character or something like that, if I remember. But anyways, Daybreak's Michael Rel Henderson has a new dev blog up for PlanetSide 2 players addressing both ongoing issues the team is managing and progress for the game's roadmap. First, Rel says that Rogue Planet is still sorting out the G15 gateway errors the game has been throwing up. Apparently, there's a band-aid in place for now. Something I wasn't aware of, but hang on. Let's go to the good part. Excuse me. From here, we are moving into summer-ish, where we'll see the rerun of Outfit Wars in the new 1v1 format on the continent of Nexus, he says, noting additional plans for garrison squads, gifting, and even underwater content. While we're not wholly decided on the scope of the underwater combat yet, we'll be making efforts to expand that. The goals would be to add more depth. Ha! The puns. Oh, I love silly puns. To water gameplay add more depth to water gameplay by giving players reasons to use the water, ways to defend themselves, and make it a bit easier to traverse while still retaining the feel. We'll be introducing our first proper naval vessels as part of that, which we'll talk about more in the near future. Yeah, from what I can remember, there was no water combat or anything like that, so no comments or anything. But yeah, the most interesting part of this article was Bree Royce's pun. I will admit I did enjoy that. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below if you play PlanetSide too. I haven't played in what feels like a decade. I mean, with the way the new Battlefield game is coming out, or the way it is, I mean, I'd probably choose to play PlanetSide 2 than Battlefield, and I think that says something. Because I do have Battlefield. I did buy it, and it came out on sale, I believe, like a week after it came out to like $33, which is like, wow, okay, that should have told me something about the game, but I bought it anyways, and overpaid it. Do you guys remember Temtem? I remember a few years ago, back in believe 2019, a lot of people were talking about this because this was supposed to be some sort of like Pokemon game, but like in a more fleshed out world or something like that. But yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of people play this game anymore. But anyways, it goes on to say that Temtem adds Dojo Wars, an auction house, mounts, and a Temtem Plus console DLC in the newest update. The kickstarted early access critter collecting MMORPG Temtem has released a pretty hefty update that adds, among other things, Dojo Wars and other dojo related features, Tems that can become mounts, an auction house, and a new DLC for family shared accounts on console versions of the game. See, I didn't even know you actually had DLC for family shared accounts. That's pretty cool. I guess if you are playing this game with your entire family, like there's things that you can share amongst yourselves. I would assume, like kind of like sharing your Netflix name and password or something like that. I don't know, but that sounds pretty interesting. We'll begin with the DLC first. It's called Temtem Plus, and it lets all console accounts on a family shared plan have access to bonus features such as unrestricted, global chat, unlimited trading, and increased Temdeck storage to keep up to 600 different monsters. This DLC will be automatically granted to all primary accounts that purchase the game or have purchased the game already, and will not be necessary for PC players, and Steam and Discord let devs choose whether to allow family sharing and secondary accounts or not. That I didn't know. This new DLC comes as a solution to problems that arouse out of family, this new DLC comes as a solution to problems that aroused out of console family shared accounts, as players were using secondary accounts to troll others, abuse the market, and strain the game's servers with storage floods. Interesting. We've considered this a fitting working solution for all involved parties. So good on them. So lastly, it goes on to say that other features of this new patch include the introduction of an auction house that works like every other auction house in a MMORPG experience, the introduction of 2 mounts with promises of more to come in later updates, cross progression between PC and PlayStation 5, and the aforementioned Temdeck storage increase from 300 to 600. Though most of the slots will be locked until a certain quest is completed, so there's still some completions with that. Yeah, I don't know. There's only one comment here. I don't know if it's still a really popular game. I mean, I guess we could look it up. We still got Valheim here, so look up Temtem. I mean, still doing relatively well. Let's see. Back in April 22nd, which is again a few days from the recording of this video, at peak you had, or actually, let's go up here. This shows, yeah. So it's still, so this is just on Steam, right? Not the numbers from the console version. So I would imagine it's a bit higher, By how much, I don't know. But at its peak, here on April 24th, it had roughly about 1,500 players with just under 100 Twitch viewers. But we see a peak here. Yeah, it still shows. With a viewership of just under 500. So I'm guessing maybe a popular Twitch streamer was like streaming that one day. Maybe, I don't know. Because it's been relatively pretty low. Except for this one little spot here, so... I mean, it's still... I mean, if it's an MMORPG, I'd still say it still has a healthy amount at a peak of 1,500. I mean, it's still doing tremendously well compared to, say, something like Elion, which is like... I mean, it doesn't even have like 100 people, right? Excuse me. Yeah. So I take that back. Not 100, but like 300. It peaks at just over 300. Which, you know, in Twitch viewership, you have like 34, 39, 12, 10, you know, sometimes 0. So, yeah, I mean, the game isn't doing incredibly well, unfortunately. Like, I want this game to succeed. I still want to play it. I mean, not as much as, you know, these days, because, again, I have too many irons in the fire right now. But, yeah, it's good to know that Temtem is still around. I haven't heard of this game for a while, and so this is why I do what I do, just to kind of keep in the loop of what's going on out there, and seeing if there's other games I might want to play that I haven't given a try. Oh yeah, so we got more Lost Ark news, but this one's completely different, and this will be the last article of the day. And it says here that Lost Ark KR, the Korean version of Lost Ark, gets a new continent and new Abyss dungeon on April 27th, and that's today. So this article came out yesterday on the 26th, and anyways, it goes on to say that for those who follow the content updates of the Korean version of Lost Ark in order to keep abreast of what's eventually headed into the West, you'll likely want to know that, or you will likely want to know about the Paradise of the Dreamless update arriving on Wednesday, April 27th. So technically, it actually... No. Okay, so Korea is a day ahead, so it's technically the 28th in Korea right now. If I'm well, anyways, I'm complicating it more than I should. So, anyways, this new content dropped, which is bringing a close to the game's second season with a new continent and new endgame dungeon. The continent in question is known as El Gacia, a place that was hidden from the world by the demon slayer Kaden, where a winged race of people reside. That kind of reminds me of Aeon. In addition to the new continent, the update will introduce a new Abyss dungeon with 3 different difficulties and 4 different boss fights. This instance starts at a minimum item level of... You guys ready? 1,475. That's very high. That's about 1,100 more than I have right now. Naturally, it's going to be some time before any of the stuff arrives to our version of the MMO ARPG, but those who are looking forward to all the same can check out the trailer below in advance, as an advance sneak peek. So, whoa, that's kind of loud, sorry. You know what? I think I'll do a reaction trailer on my other channel, Coffee and RPGs, for this. I mean, it does look pretty cool.